The Douglas County Sheriff's Office, around 90% of sworn officers are white, something leaders in the department say that they've been trying to change. And as 6 News' Marlo Lundak reports, efforts to diversify the force are paying off.
If you're going to diversify your agency, you have to be intentional about what you're doing.
Intentional. That's exactly what Chief Deputy Wayne Hudson says the Douglas County Sheriff's Office has been when it comes to recruitment.
What comes with diversity of ethnicity and gender comes diversity of thoughts and ideas, and that can only make us a better agency.
In mid-2021, the Sheriff's Office received backlash after its graduating class of new deputies were all white men. But now, a year and a half later,
we have probably now, before we had one of the most diverse classes, this class we have right now is probably the most diverse class.
To make that possible, the Sheriff's Office made some changes. They hired a diversity consultant and beefed up recruitment across all of Douglas County.
We will never sacrifice quality for quantity. We'll never do that. We haven't cheapened the test. We haven't lowered the scores. What we have done has been more intentional about targeting minorities and females, going to the places where we can recruit them, doing the best that we can to recruit them.
Of the 6 recruits in the current class, 3 are women.
It's always been a passion of mine is protect others, serve my community. And
Kate Rohde is one of them. She says it's inspirational to see more women join the ranks.
Well, I think it's important, everybody has different backgrounds and personalities even and perspectives, and I think that's important to continue that to grow in the community or into the department and throughout our community as well.
The remaining 3 recruits are men, a Latino man, a black man, and a white man.
It's awesome. I think it's important that the agency reflects the people in the community. It helps build trust between the officers who work here and the people out in the community. So I think it's great that the agency cares about stuff like that. So.
Hudson says he hopes this is just the beginning.
I think what we're going to see here in the future here, if these efforts continue, that the Sheriff Department will soon reflect the community.
On your site in Douglas County, Marlo Lundak, 6 News.